Hi, Tracy, you're live.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Good, 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 good. Absolutely. Hey, guys, we got a special treat. We got a special treat tonight. This is Dr. Tracy Williams, and she, I would say, new Circle of Champions member, but she's not new. We interviewed Tracy not long ago, just a few weeks ago, on her very first deal when she was a new Circle of Champion member, but she has done some more deals, and so we're going to get an update on some more deals she's done. So, Tracy, I want to thank you for taking the time to be on tonight's call yet again, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so I want to follow the same format we did last time, Tracy, because you're going to get to be an old pro at this. But first of all, there she is. There's the lovely lady right there. I said Circle of Champions member. She's a repeat Circle of Champions member. And what's cool about tonight is she says a wholesale house. Actually, she wholesaled 2 houses, sight unseen, that a realtor couldn't even sell. But she sold them. She's sitting in California, wholesaling these properties in Birmingham, Alabama. Never laid eyes on them. These are our second and third deals consecutively. They actually were sold together, these 2 houses. And she made $2,000 just doing these little bread and butter deals, and, you know, never left the comfort of her desk. So now I got to tell you right now, every time I talk to Tracy about this, well, I only made $2,000. Oh, my God. Those $2,000 are now probably worth $200,000 in the confidence she's gaining through this process, and she's literally selling houses the realtors can't sell. So that's what I want to talk to Tracy about tonight. And Tracy, I want to start. Some of the people here know your background, but some of them are new and don't know your background. So I got some questions up here. You know, I just kind of prompt some dialogue, conversation. But let everyone know, if you would, just your background and what prompted you to get involved with real estate, how long you've been involved, and, you know, what training have you received?
With regard to real estate, I started probably about 4 years ago doing little seminars for, I don't know, Robert Kiyosaki or Donald Trump, and Fan Merrill, Flip This House, or whatever. So I started doing some of those and dabbling, and never really got very far. You know, it's good information that they have, but they're also very expensive. So, but I was looking for some passive income. I am a pediatrician by trade and wanted to help finance my daughter's $5,000 a month college. So that's quite a steep tuition. So this is one of the ways that I can do that. So that's sort of the prompting to get started, I guess. And so I kept getting emails from a guy named Lance Edwards and webinars. So I listened to those webinars, and I actually went to one of your seminars in Riverside, Lance, and met you there. And I liked what I heard. More, I guess, impressed with your presentation than any of the other guys that Fan Merrill could bring out, or Robert Kiyosaki. So I started getting involved with you, and since getting involved with you, I don't know when Riverside was, maybe less than a year ago.
Right.
I've sold 3 houses now in Birmingham, Alabama, sight unseen, and with an offer from the realtor to actually, if he has other single families that he gets on the market, he likes to, the realtor that I've been working with is an investor as well. He does single family, multifamily. So I'm sort of on his list, so when he gets another house done, he contacts me. We set a price together, and I advertise through the buyer generator and through Craigslist, and Craigslist has come through for me for both of the deals. So,
all right, I want you to hold that thought. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. And
okay.
So right now, I guess through flipping these houses, you're paying lunch money for your daughter at college.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It's a trip to Target and a trip to, you know, Amazon.
So, all right. Well, thank you for that. So let's look at the property. Here they are. There's the 2 houses. You sent me these pictures. You nothing fancy to them, and it says houses in Birmingham. What do you know about the condition of these things, and are they rented, and what were the opportunities?
Yeah, I guess this was these were purchased or under contract with the realtor from a guy from an estate who had several. So these were the next two up, and they are already tenanted. And I don't think there was any rehab done, at least at the point that it was put under contract. But the realtor that I've been working with said, I think they're in good shape. I think they'll pass inspection. I don't think there'll be a problem. The renters, one was in there already 3 or 5 years, I can't remember. And the other one was similar. So real stable place, a little bit better neighborhood than in the other house that I sold. So I put them out there together, thinking they would be a good double property for somebody. So, and it worked out that way.
What was the seller's motivation?
I don't know that. I just think he's got several.
The realtor basically had them listed, is that right?
He had them on LoopNet, yeah, for less than what I sold them for. They actually ended up needing some siding or something, so they came down on the price another $1,000 or so he could fix it. But I found a cash buyer, and he took them both.
Now, all right, I'm gonna get. You said I'm gonna come back to something in a minute. All right, so we got these two little houses. They're basically rental houses. One investor owner. Did the owner live in Birmingham, or do you even know?
I don't know, but I think he did, yeah.
Okay. All right, so you've got these two properties. They're listed. So in terms of the deal, again, you've already alluded to some of this. So you found it through your relationship with this agent because you had already sold one of his houses for him a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, basically he said, we had a positive experience working with you, and you sold before we did, so anything that comes up, if you wanted to work with us again, we'd be happy to. So Lance jumped all over that when I told him that, and he said, why don't you call him, see what else he's got? And so I did, and that's how he came back with these two properties.
Yes, everyone knows Traci's out in Southern California. She's mentioning Riverside, that's L.A., greater L.A. metro area, and she had the first little house under contract in Birmingham, and she said, I'm going to pull out of Birmingham. I don't want to. Nobody's going to buy this house.
Yep, I did.
Right? You wanted to pull out. I said, why? I said, how much time do you have on the contract? What do you have, like 3 or 4 weeks left or something like a month? I think
yeah,
about a month.
we had more than 30 days on it.
Yeah, I said, why pull out? It's not. You got it under contract. It's not cost you anything. Just keep marketing it. Let's see what breaks loose. And so she closed that deal, and then she went back. And like she just said, she's so impressed that other house that she sold, the first house, was also listed by the realtor, and he couldn't sell it. Traci sold that one, and she went back to that agent and said, what other houses do you have you can't sell? Let me take a crack at it. And you basically did it under a co-marketing arrangement where you had an option on it, but he was free to sell it, right? Whoever found the buyer first, correct?
Yeah. Well, the second time around, he didn't even bother with the option.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He just figured I'd probably sell it, so I did.
All right. So now what are the numbers in these deals? What kind of price points talking about on these houses?
I think we initially started maybe in the 35 range a piece, or 34. So I put them out there as a double. I think I put out 68 or something, and nothing really happened for maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and I hadn't heard from the realtor, so I was emailing him and calling him, and then he came back and he goes, all right, let's see if you can sell it for, we'll sell it to you for 30. So we came way down on the price then at that point, and that made the cap rate, if you go by cap rates on a single family, go to about 16. And it wasn't 2 weeks before I had probably about 5 buyers that wanted the houses, both of them. So I could have sold it many times over if I had, 5 more houses, I could have sold all of them.
Then what does that tell you, Traci?
Well, I've been emailing and trying to get a hold of the realtor again. I haven't talked to him yet, but I've emailed him and let him know.
You've got a buyer's list now looking for more houses.
Yeah, Birmingham seems to be a little bit warm in people looking there. So.
All right. Well, let me go back to something else you just said. This is an important point. When everyone hear this, is that you had it under a certain price A. They weren't moving, so you went back and basically renegotiated the price to a lower price. Correct?
For this one, he volunteered to me. I told him I wasn't, getting much action with the price, and so he came back to me with the lower price, and that's what he did with the last one pretty much, because I was getting a lot of feedback from Craigslist. People will always tell you what they think, oh, that's in a bad neighborhood, nobody's going to come there. So I just give that feedback right back to realtor/owner, and that made it work because it wasn't going to go in that neighborhood for that price. But this one, I think they were in a fair neighborhood that wasn't so low, and he realized what would be a more marketable price. So
good. All right, so let's get this, because you kind of started alluding to this. So how did you find your buyer, and are there any interesting stories on getting these closed?
No, not really. It certainly was out in the buyer generator, and I got a few from there. But I stay on top of Craigslist, and I put the ad, I repeat the ad every 48 hours. And I keep changing the title, price slashed after we went down a marginal amount, So I try to put catchphrases in there, 2 for the price of 1, because $60,000 for 2 houses is ridiculous in California, of course. So, but those kinds of catchwords seem to catch people's attention. So I use them every 48 hours and change it up.
Where'd your buyer come from?
He lives in Florida, but he owns like it's not a hedge fund because it's not that amount of money, but he buys single families in Birmingham, and I think there might be other areas. He was looking into Kansas City, but he wanted to ultimately purchase, I think, like 15 to 20 houses or so for his group. It must be like a pool, people giving him money. I don't know what you call that kind of guy. Is he a broker?
Syndicator.
Okay. So he's just going around looking, and he had cash to burn. He had $150,000 cash, and he was buying another 3 just before he bought these. So he's getting close to his goal of reaching 15 to 20 houses for 16% cap rate on each one. They're already tenanted, no or minimal rehab basically. So that's the kind of buyer, you'd want to have.
So you need to get him. You need to put in some small apartments. Hey, I'll get you into all you want in one deal, Traci.
I asked him. He's not interested in multifamilies right now for whatever reason. This is just a single family in Birmingham kind of thing, and starting to branch out into other cities. But that's just his thing, So
you need
somebody else.
You need to tell him to buy my book.
There yet, I'll buy it for him for 99 cents.
There you go. There you go. All right. So you've got a buyer, and you got this little cottage industry in Birmingham, Alabama, where you're finding deals and matchmaking right now. So what's next? What's next for you? What's next for your business?
Well, you and I have talked about this before, but when in my business and position, you have to recertify boards, so I've had to pull back just a little bit so I can study for that. So right now I'm focusing on continuing my little cottage business in Birmingham, and I'm trying to sell my own single family in St. Louis on owner finance. So I hope to get that done in the next couple months. And then I also have some tenants in common property in Sacramento area. So I'm starting to step up on that. That one's also on the buyer generator, and I'm now putting in ads in the Sacramento Bee, the newspaper, and that will be on City Feet for 30 days. So I'm trying to push that so I can sell my own property so I can, next stop is to try to get the cash flow to actually pay tuition. So that would be hoping to put that kind of cash monies into buying and holding as opposed to little cottage selling.
Right.
But that too, because I think that, you know, 1,000 or 2,000 every couple months is a nice little, you know, chunk of change that you can put into ads, that you can put into postcards, that, you know, whatever you have to do.
All right. So you're gonna. I got a couple questions coming in about this, and so obviously you're busy during the day as a pediatrician. So how do you manage your time?
Every minute of my day is taken up until I fall asleep pretty much, and I get up early in the morning. That's the time that I do looking into Craigslist and seeing who responded overnight, and I put out my ads in the morning early. I make phone calls to back east if there's anything, because 6 a.m. is 9 a.m. in Florida. So I can do things before I get started, and then I pretty much am MIA during the day for my time, and then if there's anything I can do at night, at night I'm home looking, you know. I'm out on City Feet, I'm out on LoopNet, I'm out on whatever else is out there. I like LinkedIn. They do have quite a few deals out there for people looking for wholesale properties. You can find them out there on LinkedIn. I actually put mine on LinkedIn too.
I saw.
So I look at night and call in the morning kind of thing.
Okay, super. All right, so now you've gotten through deals number 2 and 3. Let me ask. I got several questions here. Before I go to this, in a minute, I'm going to ask you this question. I got a couple of questions. All right, so how has your mindset adjusted from doing deal number 1 and now doing deals 2 and 3? How has your outlook changed?
Well, before I certainly had a lot of fear, and I still have a lot of fear, but it's gone so far down. You know, as the more you approach the people that you're not comfortable approaching, the more comfortable you get, obviously. So I used to have a really hard time making cold calls, and that's still probably a little bit harder for me. But I notice now that I have a little more, I don't know if you just feel more knowledgeable because you've done a deal. You feel like you can't be pushed around as much, because they do try to push you around and tell, you know, people like Jeffrey, you can't do this deal, you know, this is only worth this. And, you know, sometimes they're just full of BS, you know, and you just have to push through that. And I'm not used to that, but I've gotten used to it more now, so I feel more comfortable playing that game.
All right. Now, one more question. So now you're a real estate entrepreneur. You got deals under your belt. How has this process been compared to the process of, you know, learning to be a pediatrician and being a pediatrician?
But here, you can go at your own pace, but you have to keep your momentum up if you can, and that you reminded me. So certainly persistence would be applicable to both medicine as well as this kind of business. Yeah, it's totally, but it's much more social. It's much more a game playing. We try in science to be a little more exact about what's happening, but in real estate it's more like, what game are you playing, and let's see if we can play the same game. And if we do, then maybe we can make a deal. But if we don't play the same game, you don't make a deal. So that's a little different for me, is adjusting to this kind of game of I don't tell the truth necessarily. Yeah, my property doesn't need any rehab, and you go look at it and it looks like trash to you, so, it's all very interesting, the reality that people have.
That's great. That's great. All right, now, final question. And you've, second batch of deals here. People on this call, or some of them are yet to do their very first deal. So for them, Traci, from your heart, what's the single most important thing you've learned in this process?
I think I said it before, but I'll qualify it a bit. Persistence is key, but you have to know when to say no. Like on Jeffrey's deal, for example, if they say 54 and you can't get it, then you're going to have to make the decision to pull out and go for the next deal and not take it so hard. So persistence is one thing, but it just means that you back up and you move forward in a different direction. So one step backward, 2 steps forward again. But that's just the nature of the beast there. And one more thing I guess I would say is pretty important is I didn't have faith before that I could find the money or a buyer, but I find that it's much easier to find the buyer and the money than it is to find the deal. And maybe that's where I was looking. Maybe that's just what, happened to me. I don't know what you guys would think about that, but I find that the deal of what kind of property you put under contract is the needle in the haystack. So if you find that deal, the rest is easy. And I didn't have that faith before, but now I know that that's by far the harder thing is to find something than it is to get the money.
Super, super, super. Well, congratulations on number 2 and 3. I'm continually very excited for you, proud of you and what you've done, and you're an inspiration to a lot of people on this call, including myself. So thank you for sharing your story here, Traci.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for mentoring. It's really been a good experience for me in 6 months, and I pushed pretty hard, to get what I did get accomplished. But I think it is a bridgeway and a gateway to a much better place where I can afford things that are important, in my life too. So I appreciate all your help.
Okay, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. No, you're an absolute pleasure. I love working with people who take action. Love working with people who take action. All right, hey, we got some questions coming. You up for some questions?
Sure.
All right, we got a couple questions came in, and some of them you were answering through the course, but a couple of people asked, how much earnest money deposit? If you don't mind sharing, if you don't want to say, that's absolutely fine as well. But how much earnest money on these?
On those 2 particular houses, I didn't have to put up anything. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just because the guy that I talked to, actually what I think came down to what happened was the realtor went under contract, and he didn't tell me that he had let it run out or whatever he did. So there wasn't a contract, and I'm advertising these houses, and I told him I would put it under contract, and he said, oh, no, we'll wait. So, because he already had it under contract. So that was kind of a mix-up. He kind of lets things ride, I think, and doesn't tell me. But anyway, so when I finally did find a buyer, it shocked him so much that the guy had cash and everything. So the guy who had the cash, I talked to him. I said, can you put up the earnest money they want? I think they wanted $3,000. And my buyer said, yeah, no problem. I'll take care of that. So he took care of that. He took care of paying for the inspection. He took care of negotiating the price down. So he pretty much did everything after he took over.
So you didn't have to raise any money at all for this transaction.
I didn't. Nope.
Well, you raised it through your buyer. Your buyer put up all the funds. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, I told him I was, waiting for some earnest money back from a different deal, and that I didn't. He said, no, it's okay. So I would have, and I had it coming, so I would be able to put that in, but I asked him if he could do it, and he agreed. So that's the nice thing.
All right. Very good. Well, you answered the other questions you answered in the course. So, again, congratulations. Great job, Traci.
Thank you very much.
And I'll be talking to you tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. Looking forward to it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.